Well, here it comes.
What's up, everybody? It's Coach Wardlaw here with another episode of 4th and Ward. Got my brother, Coach Jack Wardlaw, on the line. Appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, full video on YouTube and TikTok. Appreciate you guys that have been watching from all across the country and even some different parts of the world, Jack. We've got some listeners, and we talked about this before: Poland, Mexico, Russia, Canada, and then, of course, we got our biggest conglomerate here in the good old USA. Jack, you doing all right this week?
Good, man. Good. We're wrapping up school, wrapping up spring ball. So we're kind of on the come down heading into summer.
Yeah, we got
Living the
today was our
dream.
last full day of school. And tomorrow we got a half day. And then we got to knock out graduation and all that. And yeah, we're moving on.
Y'all finish school before graduation?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Well, our seniors were done, a week ago. And then
Yeah,
the underclassmen still have to come this week, but it's kind of nice to wrap
we
it
used
all
to
up.
have an exam week, and I remember there being like graduation maybe on like Monday or Tuesday, and then by the end of the week everybody else is done. But now this year we're wrapping up school, and then we'll do graduation the next day, and we're gonna call it a summer before Memorial Day. Not a bad schedule, but
Not bad at all.
nah, we wrapped up the year. We actually just finished our last night of kids camp, and as always, that's a good time. We did a little 3-day camp for rising first through sixth graders. If they wanted to sign up, they didn't necessarily have to be in our district, but it was a good time. Plenty of stories from that one, but the biggest story, Jeff, from this week, we've been doing our testing. We talked about this a little bit last week. Before we start our summer workouts, I want to make sure we got updated on maxes on all of our guys so the company performance course can have some numbers to work off of. So yesterday, we were maxing out on power clean and incline, which is a reverse from the day before. Yeah, if you power clean one day, the next day you're going to incline, and then we flipped them. So anyway, I'm monitoring my power clean station, and my group's kind of wrapping up, and guys are getting hype and all that good stuff. And then just one of the coaches from the far end of the platform just come like fast walking away, like walking up my way. He's like, I got to get away from that. And I'm like, everything good? Nah, man, this kid's finger fell off. And I just kind of like, I thought he was talking about the incline, like guys racking the incline and then,
Yeah.
a bar catch or something like that. I've heard some stories about a finger coming off in the squat rack or something like that.
Yeah.
But no, he was at the platform. He was power cleaning. So what happened was this kid, as he's kind of bringing the weight through and all that, I don't think he had a good clean catch, and the bar comes back down, and his pinky finger, gets caught between the bar and like the top of his knee, his kneecap area or whatever. And our offensive coordinator was watching it, and he's kind of got the weights written down. He's waiting to see if he's completed it. And he said he noticed like something flew off kind of in his direction. He just thought it was a Band-Aid or something. And then he noticed there's like a lot of blood coming from this kid's hand. And so then he looked back down and he could just see fingernail and then just like the whole cap of the kid's finger. And then it was just like, so yeah, they're calling everybody down, medical attention, get it taken care of. And funny story. So they get the kid to the trainer and they're getting everything taken care of and all that. So
That
he's
bad
good to
boy
go.
on ice.
It's a funny story about that. So, there's blood on the platform. And so we get into cleanup mode or whatever. So our OC just kind of like sweeps it like off to the side, and he's like wiping all this blood away and stuff. And the nurse or trainer or whoever comes running back in and was like, "Where is it? Where is it?" And he was like, I just figure we need to get it out of here. There's a bloody mess and all that. So like, no, we got to get that. So grab it and get it back up. And thankfully they were able to get it all stitched back up. And I saw him today and he's doing real good. But yeah, he's going to be missing a little bit of time because I'm
His
not
finger
kidding.
fell off.
Yeah, but that was the first time I have ever heard of somebody like popping a finger off on a power clean. There's a first
on their
time
own knee.
Yeah, on
Like
their own knee.
you hear the stories, like you're squatting, you coming down trying to catch the safety rails and getting pinched there, but like your own kneecap.
Yeah,
How much weight was he doing?
Mid to high 200s probably, if I was
He's
guessing.
a decent bit.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, he had at least probably 2 plates on there. Yeah,
Yeah.
like First time for everything. And of course, we're all just kind of just in disbelief. And I saw the kid later that night. He came back by after he went to the urgent care and stuff.
He came back?
Well, he left all his phone and stuff in the locker room
Yeah, I
because they
guess.
had to like rush him out earlier that afternoon. Anyway, so I got to talk to him. Well, he was in like a knee immobilizer, and he said the knee's what hurt more than the finger coming off. And
Well, I
I
guess
was
the
just
finger might have been
yeah,
so quick.
I was just sitting there in disbelief. But so they went, got it all looked at and stuff. Nothing's torn in the knee and all that. Just a lot of swelling from the bar and the finger that went flying by. But man, you want to talk about an action-packed Tuesday? Like, can't make this stuff up, dude. So I guess that have you seen anything remotely close to that in your days in the weight room?
No. No. What do you mean? Like, I've seen some knee injuries like during practice, but those are,
Yeah,
I hate to say, but like a dime a dozen. You see those
you
happen, but
do.
like
Yeah,
a
more frequently.
finger,
Yeah, a
no, I've
finger
never,
coming off.
no. And I hope I
Yeah,
never do.
yeah. Honestly, I'm glad I didn't see. I mean, I saw the pictures afterwards. Like once they got it kind of cleaned up, I got to see like what the finger looked like before they sewed it back on and stuff. I didn't get to look very long because I was feeling a little squeamish. But nah, dude. Like you want to talk about just the world standing still for a second? You're just like, what?
Yeah.
Just in disbelief. Now, I had heard another story, like you said, in the squat rack. This kid out far east Texas, he used to be on the team with a guy that I coached with, but he was telling us this story. He was in the squat rack and he was a strong kid, so he had just an ungodly amount of weight. And of course, bar rolls off the back, and he's just like putting his hands out. So his hands on the crash bar, and that bar smacked it. And they said, like, he said that finger shot off like a daggum ball rocket, dinged off the wall.
Oh my
Man,
God. No,
yeah,
I've never, thankfully, never seen anything like. Now I've seen some close calls.
yeah.
We were doing, what were we doing? Um, they're called jammers. Everybody's got their own name for a lot of these things, but
Yeah.
it's an explosive lift for the tsunami bar, right? And so you can picture it. There's almost like I guess a 6-point explosion, but you're standing up, just pressing out with it, right? We had a coach. I mean, literally half an inch from just like death, because this kid just in that bar just, and he didn't even realize it. That was crazy. The coach didn't even realize it, and me and our defense coordinator back here just like, "Do you see that? Like he about just died." Like, no, they never seen a finger. Hope I never do. So, oh my, I just can't stop picturing it in my
Yeah.
head.
Yeah. And then like, so that was like at the end of the day, well, our kids camp starting like not even an hour and a half later. So you got to like rewire your brain. Like this just happened. And then now I got like little first grade kindergartners, like that I got to keep corralled for the next 3 hours. But do y'all do a kids camp
Oh,
for your community?
yeah, we do. I think ours is scheduled for later this summer. It's usually like a 2-day thing. You X amount for one day, or it's a cheaper price if you just do both days up front. Um, but yeah, no, I really love doing that because, coming from a community like we grew up in, it's cool just to be able to see the younger generation, the guys you'll have hopefully in, 8, 10, whatever years coming through the high school and playing. No, yeah, we do it, and I really like doing it. And I think we're about to, kind of do it up a little more this year. So be on the
There you
lookout if you're
go.
looking to sign your kids up for the Palmetto football camp.
Heck
It'll be
yeah.
good, but yeah, it's I think later July
We're
is
we're
when we're
probably getting
doing
to
it.
the
But
age probably getting to the age now where we might start having some guys we went to
yeah,
school with have their own kids kind of come through the pipeline. But no,
yeah, it
we
happened
do
last year.
really
Yeah, I saw this is stupid, but I saw my 6th grade ex-girlfriend with her kid at the youth
throwback.
camp, and I was just like,
Time
where's the
flies,
time
man.
gone? Yeah,
Where does the time go? Yeah, yeah. We usually do two camps and we split it up by age group and all that. So we had this camp. We normally do it the week of Memorial Day. It's like Memorial Day's Monday. We do it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday morning from 9 to 12, a few hours a day.
Yeah,
And I like the way we set ours up because we were talking with like especially first grade, and then like I got one going into kindergarten. Well, I made him do it just because he's a coach's kid. Like it's
yeah,
time he starts getting in the mix. But like their attention spans. But I like the way we do it because everything's like station based, and so like you don't have them in that one spot for more than like 10 minutes at a time, and then they're moving on, and then we'll do
Yeah.
like several different rounds, and then it makes the time go by faster.
Yeah, as long as they're running around and they can tackle a dummy or something, you gotta
Yeah,
keep it short because they're gonna be all over the place.
well, that's what we learned. I think you could just do drills where like they throw and catch the ball, and then drills where they just tackle, and like
Yeah,
it like they
yeah.
would just like have a blast doing just that. But
And
nah, I gotta.
one cool thing we do, sorry, not to interrupt, but
Nah, you good?
part of our kids camp, you get a shirt, obviously, and that
Yeah,
shirt, we have a rec night during the season at one of our home games where they play a little, I think they play a mini game at halftime. A couple
well,
of
that's
rec leagues
cool.
do. But,
That's cool.
all the kids that came to the camp get a shirt, how many youth camp, yada, yada. And that shirt will actually get you free admission to, the game. And then, coaches are wearing the same shirt on the sideline. It's just cool to see, you go to
That's
a
cool.
game where you see who, you were just interacting with this summer at a youth camp, at a game, having the time of their life. It's just a cool, again, small town community kind of thing that I really love doing. And hopefully it just keeps getting bigger and bigger for us. But
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we've like the first 2 years that we did it, man, we had like some awesome crowds, like well over 100 kids, all that. Last year, or we probably had that the first 3 years. Last year, we had a tornado come through the area, and so had to push it back, change the dates up, so that hurt numbers a little bit. And then we're trying this new time frame this year, and so we had a little bit lower numbers, but like you said, like I had a good time every single day. And
yeah,
even if it is a little bit lower numbers, like it honestly makes the camp, you get to, it makes the camp a little more enjoyable. You ain't so worried about the
yeah,
next group coming through. You get to really
yeah,
focus on this group. And man, we had some that needed, especially my kids. So, well, one of them was fine. All right. My middle one was okay. Kind of a proud dad. I had my chest poked out a little bit. But the youngest one, it was his first time at football camp. And we got to work on his tackling a little bit. Yeah, we're talking about near foot, near shoulder, put it right in that dummy, unload the hips, land on the big red mat, right? Well, he comes sprinting through, does his high knees, and then he goes, and I promise you, he like spider monkeyed right onto it, like just wrapped it, had like arms around it, legs around it, and then just like fell over on the mat. And I'm like, buddy, hit with your shoulder, like save
WWE
your
baby.
yeah. Oh, dude, you could tell he's been watching Friday Night
Yeah.
SmackDown. Like it looked like he was trying to hit Sweet Chin Music on one of those. On one of these, probably been watching too much Power Rangers or SmackDown. That's the problem.
You know what that reminds me of? We had a kid, he came out for spring practice, right? And he had told me straight up, like, I hadn't played backyard football. I really want to get into it. And I'm like, come on, man, see if you like it. And if you like it, we'll see where you fit best. Come on, happy to have you. So he comes out. And first off, this is like, we just did dynamic warm up and the kid's already like holding his knees, like bent over.
Good
So we,
lord.
so we go to do like a tackling circuit. And we
Yeah.
have do y'all have I don't know what it's actually called. It looks like a big, the jacks game where it's you drop the ball and you pick up the jacks, like the old game
Was it one of
where
those
it's like
rugby tackle? One of the rugby
it,
tackle things that you just tackle and it rolls, and the
it
next guy
just
goes and
keeps,
tackle.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
So we
No, we don't
have
have one of those, but I've seen videos of those. They're pretty cool looking.
we have one and it's his turn, right? He's just all he's literally doing is just it's actually it was a turnover circuit. So he's coming, strip sack kind of thing. The other
Yeah.
guy's recovering. He runs up and just clotheslines it, but it
Yep.
doesn't but it doesn't budge. He just gets
Rejected.
like boom, like folded back by himself.
Good
But no, I hadn't
lord.
seen him back out there now that I think about it. But
He
no,
got
and honestly,
embarrassed.
in theory, that's a great piece of equipment, but in practicality, like the legs come out at an angle as well. So you're almost teaching kids to launch. Like they can't bring their feet up under them with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's
Well,
kind
that's
of
what
like,
we were wondering with those things. Like, how does the line like? You don't know exactly where it's gonna.
yeah,
The angle. Like, how does that next guy know where he needs to be coming from? So we never invested in those. But
yeah, it's not good idea in theory, but and maybe we're just not using it right. I don't know, but it's
maybe
not the
I don't
best
know.
piece, I'll say.
I've heard mixed reviews about them. They look really cool in the videos and all that, and I think they were kind of a
Yeah,
trend for a while for football coaches to go in order. But yeah, I think now some flaws are start to show up in them. But
yeah,
nah, we had kids camp this week, and so how we do it, the first 30, 40 minutes, they're doing a 6 station, half of it's offensive drills that are like blocking or catching or basic cable stuff, high and
yeah,
tight with the ball. And then on the defensive 3 stations, it's usually all tackling, right? So I was doing like a little donut tackle drill, And the next one down is like a mat tackle drill, and then there's another one down there. But after that, we go from the indoor out to the stadium, and we split the field at the 50, and we'll take like the older grades are going to go do offense for the next 30, 40 minutes, or whatever.
Yeah.
Younger grades, and then flip it. Anyway, so we had the young ones at linebackers, and so we were doing stance and start, right, getting the basic fundamentals, doing a little footwork, and they got to follow shuffle where I'm pointing and all that. Then we get into shock and shed and just block defeat kind of stuff, because I just like to let them hit. I don't know. I feel like when they're young, that's all they want to do. So we do some shock and shed, and so I had a little extra time. So we're going to work on the rip move now. We're going to rip through a block here. And well, as they're going through, they don't understand. Like, I'm like, guys, just do what I do. Just ring that arm up, dip that shoulder, rip through it, avoid the block, don't get blocked. They're just like hitting it with their elbow and doing everything but. And so I'm just yelling, rip, 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 rip. Well, anyway, the buzzer goes off. It's time for us to rotate. So I'm like, all right, guys, bring it up. What position was this again? And one little just tiny first grader goes, rip, rip, rip. And I'm like, God dang it. I had one job, screwed it up. Go to D-line.
I could not teach elementary school ever.
No,
I could not do it.
And you got to teach them to read.
Yeah, like if you mess up and they're screwed for the rest of their educational career, like you're
you're the first domino
like
for this kid's future. Like, I have a hard enough time like getting them to learn like fun facts about astronomy, and I'm supposed to teach them how to read or like get started doing math. Like,
no, not for me, man.
That's a lot of pressure.
For me.
A lot of pressure. But so you guys are still in spring ball? Y'all are y'all winding that down, or where are we at now?
Yeah, so we got, like I said, we only have 10 days total, and so we have, today's Wednesday, so we have Thursday. We'll come back next week after Memorial Day. I think we're off the Tuesday as well, and we'll hit Monday or Wednesday, Thursday, and that'll be the technical end of spring practice. But then we're going right into summer, the next week, so it'll be kind of just a continuation. But yeah, we didn't. One thing I'm sad about, we didn't get to put pads on because we had those younger kids with us. We wanted them to be out there with us, and once we put pads on, they can't. And so that was unfortunate. But that's just me being a D-line coach, I guess. I want some contact. It's hard to do pass rush or anything without pads or at least a helmet.
Yeah, I feel like O-line and D-line, like, and then it gets to a point, just defense in general, like, if you don't have pads on, you can't work on tackle. There's only so much like vice drills you can do, hip tracking drills and all that.
Offense on the other half of the field's loving it. They got all this time to run their little routes and
routes on air.
Give me a drop, throw it.
Yeah,
it's like,
you're sort of twiddling your thumbs trying to figure out, how you can create different variations of similar drills. And
it's like somebody hit somebody, man. Like, I'm just
hit somebody. Yeah, when I was at BHP, I don't know why that just reminded me of that. When I was at BHP, we had this guy in the crowd, and we had pretty good crowds. Small town game, the stands are always packed and stuff. But you heard this one guy over the entire crowd, every opening kickoff. The ball's in the air, and you just heard this dude, this redneck guy, go, "Hit somebody!" And it just like echoed out over everything. So now I just think about that every time we're like start up tackling circuit or something. Like, I'm trying to keep the tradition alive.
That unlocked a memory from when we were in high school. We were in the student section for like basketball or something, and we had gone to, I think Clemson played Nebraska in the Gator Bowl or something. We had gone to a bowl game, and their chant is just like, "Go Big Red." So we started doing it at basketball games and stuff.
Yeah. God,
that just made me think of that. Yeah. What else is cool? You remember, I'm pretty sure like your grade started this thing where it was just, like Miami the U, but the shoe.
Yeah.
They still do that to this day.
All right,
like, it's still a thing. Right. Yeah.
All right. The tradition lives on.
Yeah.
What, 12, 13 years later, something like that? Okay.
Yeah.
Left a little bit of a mark. Yeah, no, I remember seeing it. We were like Foot Locker or something. It was like a Miami Hurricanes t-shirt, and it just said, "It's all about and then they had their U shape, whatever. And I was like, just put a horseshoe right there, like plug and play.
And it even rhymes. All about the U, all about the shoe. It's like, come on.
Yeah, it was meant to be. Nah, let's see. Do they still do the Mustang Mafia student section? Is that still a thing?
Yes, they do. Yeah. Yeah. Not
Push
as
up bar?
rowdy as they were back in the day now. Not as
Man,
rowdy. Or
they got
basketball,
to
at
step
least.
up.
Football, I'm, focused on other things.
Yeah.
And it's usually a good crowd, but, we used to have people getting kicked out of these things, like,
Yeah.
rowdy.
People coming in with a morph suit on, like
Yeah.
raising some cane, getting kicked out because you can't have your face
Yeah.
covered at a
Yeah.
public event or whatever.
Yeah, they don't
Nah,
get
yeah.
too rowdy.
I think I'm trying to think of just rowdiest student. We actually first year I was out here, second year I was out here, we go into a 3 overtime game against Crandall High School at our place, and we wind up winning. And so it's just chaos. Like they're a big rival for us, like 15 minutes down the road. And we win in 3 overtimes on this just trick play, and we're having a good season. Stars were aligning, and like sidelines going crazy. Student section's going crazy. So our head coach runs over and jumps up onto the fence line at the student section, is like high fiving kids and stuff. The bleachers broke down, like, because the kids are just going crazy and all
Yeah.
that, and like it was chaos. But the only other like foreign territory that I would say had a pretty solid student section, mainly it was because it was during COVID or coming out of COVID. We go out to Texas High in Texarkana, so right on the border with Arkansas, and it's actually a town. There's Texarkana, Arkansas side,
Wait,
and there's
wait. Texarkana? One word?
Texarkana, yeah. That's the name of the city, yeah. And
Texarkana.
it is literally on the state line between Texas and Arkansas. And there's one school on the Arkansas side, and it's Arkansas High. And then the one on the Texas side is T High, Texas High. And so we're driving all the way up there. I mean, it's like a 3.5 hour trip.
Yeah.
And deep East Texas, deep in the territory of we don't care about COVID. And
Yeah.
this was back when it was supposed to be like everybody's 6 feet apart. We got the bleachers marked, and you can only sit here because that puts you so far
Yeah.
away from them. And we roll up, and there was no restrictions going on. They had kids just packed on our sideline, packed in there. They had metal old trash cans, and they're just banging them. Not a mask to be found. Like they got rowdy out there at Texas High, and then
Texarkana.
they proceeded to waylay us. They're pretty good traditionally, pretty good 5A school. But nah, what are some any wild student section experiences that you had?
In high school, nothing crazy. I will say this, and Carolina fans might be triggered by this, but when I say worst, I don't mean like the most intimidating or the loudest. I mean like the most just disgusting, I don't know, student section I've ever witnessed was at South Carolina. And I'm talking, we were coming out pregame. I just work here, man. Like, I don't play. And they're throwing dip bottles. They're throwing like popcorn, spitting, calling. I'm just like, what is happening right now? And
Yeah,
of
what are we
course,
doing?
I might be a little biased, but they were probably the most aggressive, I guess. But I will say, Virginia Tech, when they play, what is it, Enter Sandman?
Enter.
Dude, that place goes nuts.
I was just
Nuts.
watching a video the other day, and it was
A&M,
them. A&M,
A&M
yeah, I forgot you made the A&M trip, dude.
with all their little Army
A&M's like a
cadets or
cult.
whatever.
Yeah, it's like a cult, man. Like the
Yeah.
more that I'm out here and just see how they interact with each other and stuff, like it's cult-like behavior. Like I don't know, it's interesting. They like one random guy, you'll gig them, and yeah, they'll swap by and tell you howdy. Like that's like a thing they do, I guess. I don't know, but but the funny part was we actually went to College Station and played their high school team this past year, and I mean it's like a 4 hour trip. So we're driving down to College Station in the same town as Texas A&M. It was really neat. Same colors from the high school's field. You can see the top of Kyle Field, like the tall stadium they got and all that. And even like at the high school game, there was people dressed up in the little milkman outfits and like wearing their A&M stuff, and they were doing like similar chants. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the
That's
whole
nuts,
town
man.
it's like a cult, dude.
Somebody needs to look into that. That's kind of worrisome.
Yeah, there's gonna be
Sorry, this just pops in my head. Jacksonville, the Jaguars, it was a preseason game against the Cleveland Browns, right?
okay.
And they're Deshaun Watson either had just returned from his injury. He was at quarterback in this preseason game, and it was right after all that kind of stuff had played out.
Yeah.
And maybe he had just come off suspension. I can't remember if he got suspended or if he appealed. But anyway, he was playing quarterback.
Can't remember.
These people did not waste a second. It's in Jacksonville. As soon as this dude comes out on the field, just boo, like the whole stadium. And they did not stop. It was the entire time until he went off the field. And as he runs off the field, they're all just like, yeah, like just going nuts. I'm like, this guy is going through it.
He's going through it. That's a
Oh.
tough spot to be in.
Yeah, that's rough.
Nah, so y'all are about to start summer up, okay? Now y'all get to wear helmets in the summer, actually, right?
Right. Yeah, right.
Now let me ask you this about the helmet thing. Do y'all have a lot of kids trying to wear these F7 helmets?
They always ask, like, oh yeah, let me get that F7. I'm like, where do you see an F7 in here? Like, where? They're all speed flat. They're on the wall, dude. Like, there's no F7s in here.
Take your pick. Like, you get what you see.
What face mask you want? We got 2 different ones. Like, take your pick. Now they all want the F7. Apparently, that's the new swag.
That's got to be the
whatever.
trendy thing. Like we had like our returning starters or returning varsity guys. They get to go through the helmet line first, and like we've been buying because our numbers just keep growing every year. Like we're buying more and more helmets every year, and we're buying speed flexes, and so that hopefully the whole arsenal's mainly Rydell. Keep it easy on the reconditioning and all that. But we got like 5 or 7 of those F7s or whatever. Anyway, I promise you, like the first handful of guys through the door, like that's the first ones they go to. And they're trying, like the helmet's obviously not going to fit, but they are just like squeezing it on their head because they want that F7 so bad. I'm like, guys, what's the draw?
Yeah,
Like, was there
it's kinda
something I
ugly.
missed? Like, I get that it's like, it's a new helmet style, but it looks kind of like your classic helmet. Like, I feel like with the shut airs and all that, they always try to have the classic look, but just kind of little differences. But
you change like 2 notches on that thing, and it's what they call a bucket. Like they wouldn't wear it. And it's like, oh, but now it's cool.
You take away that little blue square or whatever at the top, and it's an old school bucket. Like I don't get it, but yeah, they're just clawing at getting those things, and I don't get it. Shoot, we had a guy from Rydell this past week. It looked like I was walking into space camp, like we talked about on the podcast last week. The Rydell guys got some of our guys, and they're wearing this like Buzz Lightyear looking head covering. It looks like a ski mask, kind of. All you can see is like the face and stuff. And he's just like taking on this app on his phone, taking pictures around the whole guy's head. And they call it a True Flex or whatever, but it's like a helmet that is made to fit this kid's head. And when he graduates, they're just going to size up the next guy and change out the inside. And it's going to perfect fit for the next guy. Like, how far has helmet technology come? It is crazy, man.
Yeah, an insane amount. And now they're, Virginia Tech releases those studies every year of the safest helmet and all this kind of stuff. And what's the new, an Axiom, Rydell Axiom?
Yeah.
I think, who wears it? I think Tua might wear it or started wearing it. No, he wears a Vices maybe. I don't know. But yeah, no, they all a couple kids have asked for that Axiom. And I'm like, do you know where you are? Like, this is a public school, man. Like, we don't have the funds for the newest helmet out on the market. It's like an $800 helmet at least.
Yeah, and it's got the face shield already built into it, don't it?
Yeah, and Lord knows that thing cracks, and then you got to buy a bunch of face shields to replace.
Exactly, that was my question. Like, how do you take that off, switch it out, whatever? Like,
and it's ugly. I hate the look of that thing.
It's I don't get the not having the top bar right here. Like, I don't understand that. Like, it just starts here. I mean, I don't know. It might grow on me. I don't think it's the ugliest one. I think I would rather have that than the F7. But I don't know. I mean, I just remember when we were in school, like middle school football, like, and you're right, I'm a little bit older, so I think they went through and got a bunch of new helmets after. But we had these. There was a bucket.
Oh yeah.
But it had the rubber bladder that just went around the crown of your head, and the padding in there, like it might as well be as hard as this table that I'm sitting at. Like, and you just made it work. Like there was no like take some air out and make this out. Like you just put it on and hope that your head got smaller or made it fit better. Like,
so
it's
I had
crazy how far it's come.
Middle school. Well, they still had a lot of those helmets. They were not great, but so my first year ever playing football was 6th grade, and I played rec league football. And I think either mom or dad had found. Yeah, I never played until 6th grade. Yeah, never played rec
Wow.
before that.
Wow.
But I don't know why, but they found a helmet in wherever Craigslist, whatever people used back then. It wasn't Facebook Marketplace, but and it was a Shut DNA. You remember
Yeah,
that?
that was a classic. That was a classic.
And so I rocked the DNA, and I bought a full cage face mask. I was playing center, I think. I bought a full cage face mask with the little loop right here, and but it was black. The face mask was black, and our middle school helmets were white on white. But my coach let me wear it, and so I was like the only goofy looking dude out here with a black face mask, white helmet. No, but they still had the buckets, and pretty sure half of them were missing that blue bladder at the time I got
Oh,
through. It was just
it's got to be
hard concrete foam pad. But
yes, it was. Good Lord.
do you
Hey,
remember
you didn't
the
hear a lot about
Ridos?
concussions though.
Oh no, not a thing, not a thing. That wasn't. You just got a headache. Like that's all it
Yeah,
was.
your bell got
And
rung. That's it.
yeah, and I remember one time, it was maybe freshman year, and me and my good friend, he's since passed, but me and him were doing a tackling drill, and it wasn't like an angle tackling drill or nothing. This was just straight on, head on collision. And
Oh,
yeah, no, so I remember going, and we're both probably in terms of strength right at each other, upper tier of the group, right?
yeah.
And so we're just going, and I don't want to get beat. My boy's not going to beat me. I'm going to beat
Heck
him.
no.
I'm going to
You
roast
wouldn't
him in
survive the
the
lunch table the next day.
exactly. And so
Yeah.
we going for it, and I think our foreheads just collided immediately. And I remember it got real fuzzy, and I was seeing stars, and I remember kind of just being like, "Oof, that wasn't normal." And I remember
Yeah, that's different.
the coach was just like, "All right, now get back in the line, get ready to go again." I'm just like, "Okay."
I
I was like out of it, but it went
remember
away.
my first concussion that I kind of knew what happened. I was in ninth or 10th grade. I can't remember now, maybe ninth grade. And, small school, like everybody practices together. So I think I was scouting for the varsity O line, and we had this guard that was a man child, and his signature technique was to just headbutt you as hard as he could, and then he would lock on. And I just remember he's pulling around, and I'm trying to go give him a look at where the fit was, and just boom, and it was just instant, like that ain't like something's different here. And I just remember I went home and just went to sleep, which I think I learned in hindsight you don't
Yeah,
want to
that's
go to sleep.
no.
But I was out. It was like a 14-hour nap. Like I was out.
Yeah.
Oh man, good times. Good Lord.
Can't beat it, man. Good old injury story. And there was another one. Same guy, actually. We were going against each other tackling drill. And it was the same kind of thing, just head on collision. And there was something in my back, like lower back, that just like went like no. And I just fell flat on my stomach like immediately, like just boom, flat. I mean, it was hurt for like a few weeks and then it got better. But then I was lifting a couple years later. And you might remember this because we went and moved all that furniture for um the whatever the aviation company was. I don't remember what they
Oh
were.
my gosh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
I in that injury I was squatting, and that same thing happened while I was squatting. So the weight drops and I just fall to the floor, and luckily me, I didn't have to help y'all move furniture that day, but that's the worst, man. And it still
No,
kind of
I
hurts to this day. So I don't know what it is.
just remember it seems like kids are so quick now to go see the trainer, which
Yeah.
okay, like if it's an injury, that's one thing. Okay.
If your
Like I'm
finger comes flying off, sure. Go
Yeah,
see the trainer.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Go to the. But we had that talk nowadays a lot more than we used to about there's a difference in just kind of being banged up and then being injured. And again, I'm not telling anybody to ever fight through a finger falling off, but like for you to go to the trainer when we were in school, like something had to be like obviously wrong. I'll never forget. I was going
Yeah.
to we were at the Wren High School Jamboree, and we might have been scrimmaging West Side or Walhalla. I can't remember now, and it was second down, and there's like a run on the perimeter. I'm going and I'm just reaching my arm out, and I got him down or whatever, but it just something got twisted up and it just didn't feel right. I was wearing a glove, so I don't know, but there was just a pain in my hand. And so third down, all right, let's go. We got to get the stop, and thankfully that happened. So 2 plays later, I come off the side. Hand is just hurting. I take the glove off, and this knuckle was facing this way, like the whole
Yeah.
finger just spun around. So, when you see it, it's a whole different level. You're like, oh, and I'm saying, all kinds of
Yeah.
words that you wouldn't want your mom to hear or something like that. And the trainer comes over and is like, oh, here we go. And then just she told me, look at the bleachers, and then just spun it right back and
Yep.
put some tape on it. I'm back out there. If that happened nowadays, like I feel like a kid be out like at least a week or two.
Yeah. No. And what's crazy is like I think there was just a different mindset back in the day because you remember I fell off that barn, right?
Yeah.
You know, messed all these ligaments up in my knee, whatever. Didn't want to get surgery because of football. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna miss football. Like, no, no. And hurt it again during football, and I think fully tore it. Finished it off. Finished that ACL off. Still no surgery. Just strap up those metal knee braces. I'm good to go, boss. Like I did.
God.
That's how much I didn't want to miss. And now it's
Yeah.
like I got a headache. I got to go home early. Like I'm going
Yeah.
home. My mom signed me out. I won't be at practice today. And it's
I'm
just
going to the dentist.
dude,
I'm
I
going to the
still
dentist.
don't have
Yeah.
an ACL. Like it's not there. And you're telling me your head hurts? Like what are we doing?
Yeah, the
Like
allergies or whatever. I got real bad allergies. I
yeah,
can't practice today. Like,
this
what? Are you kidding?
kid at spring practice the other day. He had for some reason had his shirt off. The dude needs a tan bad, and I look at him, he's like breaking out. Like looks like he's I don't know what it is, allergic reaction. And I'm like, "You good, man? Like what's going on?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm allergic to sweat." And I was like, "What?"
What? It's water, salt and water. You're like, what are
He's
we
like,
doing?
"Yeah, I don't know. When I sweat, I just start breaking out in hives." I'm like, "Are you messing with me right now?" And he goes, "No, I'm like actually allergic to sweat."
Dude,
Is
that's
this
a
where we're at?
first. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
like
first. I'll
I
never
ain't never heard
forget.
of that.
You ever had a stinger?
100%.
So it was middle school and I had never broken a bone or anything like that. So I didn't know what to. So anyway, they throw an interception. I was playing guard. Throw an interception. Well, I'm gonna go decleat the guy because he just intercepted the ball. Like we're in practice, like nobody's gonna score, but this kid's running like he's gonna score. I'm gonna go like smoke him. And it was just, and you remember we used to have like parents that would line up along the gate, like
Yeah,
watch. And so this kid's dad or whoever's like, yeah, there we go. I can't remember his name. We'll just call him Devin for the sake of it. Let's go, Devin. Like, go, go, go. And I'm screeching like across the field. And I just demolish him like into the fence. And I'll never forget, like, I thought I shattered like my whole shoulder. Like it hurt
yeah,
so bad. And I'm just like you just hear this ringing in your ear and like like something's like
yeah,
terribly wrong. So I run over there, like can't move my arm and get over there and the trainer takes off my shoulder pads and like my arm by itself just kept rising up and she would like push it down and it just kept rising. Like it was some like I looked like Tua when he was like on the ground, like with the
yeah, just
crazy
curled
fingers,
up.
but my arm just kept raising up by itself. And so then I'm like, so I'm having a stroke or something. Like I don't know what's
Yeah,
going on. But you threw an ice pack on it, and then like 20 minutes later, like it kind of felt all right. Went right back out there and practiced.
yeah.
Just it's
That
crazy. You didn't want to miss practice. Like
no,
you
you
just
didn't.
didn't. You didn't want to run extra. You didn't want to be on the crap list or whatever. Like you
Yeah.
didn't want to miss practice.
The shoulder thing reminded we were so at Clemson before practice, we would play me and some of the other guys that worked there before the team or anybody came out. We had the indoor kind of to ourselves. And so we'd play, we called it Red 90. It's basically 7-on-7 kind of thing.
But yeah.
And I'm not small, have never been small, so I'm not the fastest guy out there. And so in a 7-on-7 matchup, you know, I'm not gonna get the ball a lot because I'm not burning anybody on a fade, but I
Yeah.
ran this mean wheel route and I was wide open. And he hits me, I'm running down the sideline and I look across and I see this skinny dude who's faster than me by a lot, just beelining at an angle. And I'm like, nope, this ain't happening. I got like 30 yards to go. I'm getting this touchdown. And the rule is your feet. We play feet inbounds, not ball. So like you can't, whatever, dive for pylon, that kind of thing. We just played feet.
Okay.
So if your feet were in, you were in.
Okay.
Well, I'm running, like huffing, huffing, huffing. He's getting a lot closer, closer, closer. I'm like, oh God, I gotta make it. I gotta make it. So I just dive, lay out, trying to hit that pylon. And when I had landed like on my armpit and dislocated my shoulder. And so I was just like, and then dude runs up to me. He goes, we play feet, not ball, but I'll give it to you. That was a good effort. And then, whatever. I keep playing and I'm just like holding my arm like this, just trying to play middle linebacker or whatever. Long story short, I get home that night and I'm watching TV on the couch in my dorm room, and I reach for the remote control, which was like on my right with my left arm, and that thing just goes and like stays popped out, and I'm just like, and it's my like freshman year of college, so mom
You
and
got
dad,
nobody.
nobody's there. Yeah,
You got nobody you can call. It's late at night. The training room ain't
yeah.
open.
Well,
Like,
I gotta figure this out, and so I'm like, all right. I saw this in a movie once where he throws his arm up on the wall, the door frame, and just steps
yes,
forward. And thank God it worked, and it went back, and I went to the training room the next day, and they're like, "Yeah, no, that usually never worked. Like, it's really hard to get it back in there." And I
you
was
got
like,
kind of lucky.
"Yeah," it's like, "It's good now," but and he was like, "No, we gotta
Yeah.
put you in a sling." But another one, we're playing Ren, and the interception thing is what made me think of it. It's my senior year, the last game of the season. We're not going to playoffs. We went like 3-8, got smoked every game, and again, just changed from the wing tee to the spread, whatever. My last game at Ren or at playing for Palmetto at Ren, right? I had found this McDavid cowboy collar that I wore in like Pee Wee, put it on under my shoulder pads, pulled the jersey over it, tucked it up. And so
Yes,
I'm
yes.
like
Like the
looking
Mike
like,
Allstein look.
yeah, yeah. And so I'm playing guard, and our quarterback throws it deep. It's a Hail Mary, time's running out, and it gets intercepted. And this kid's about to try to run it back. And in my mind, I'm like, this is the last snap of high school football I'm ever going to play. I'm going to kill somebody. Like, I'm going to find some kid. And, like, the kid running the ball is dead. I'm going. We're on their sideline. He's running down the sideline, and I'm just slow-mo in my mind, like, I'm about to kill him. And
Giant cowboy collar.
I thought I had a great angle. Did not have a great angle. And I'm just running, and I see him just pass by me. I'm like, and this dude comes and like blocks me in the back. They threw the flag. I didn't see the flag. And I'm like, again, this is my last play ever. What are they gonna do? And so the kid that blocked me in the back lands beside me. And I just look at him, I just go, wham, and knock his head into the dirt. And then, a little scuffle kind of happens wherever they throw a flag, but what are you going to do? Suspend me from college? Like, you can't do anything. High
I'm
school league.
out.
Yeah. But no, I remember that the worst
Good
angle
Lord.
ever. Just watching him slowly run by me. I
Yeah.
wasn't about to hit him.
I remember my last snap of high school football. We were at Newberry High School, and we're in the playoffs, first round, and they had a nose guard that turned right around and played running back. Like, dude was an athlete. I kind of wonder where he wound up, because dude was an athlete, because he was every bit of probably 270, but like,
Yeah.
again, could run well enough that he played running back.
Yeah.
And we're losing, by it was out of reach. Like, we know it's over, down 2-3 scores, whatever. And I'll never forget the last defensive snap. I have a chance to go tackle this kid, and his thigh board, like, just like, I think I was out for a second there. Like, I was able to get off the field, but like, it's kind of hazy. Like, I really can't remember my last play, but I'll never forget that game, because the whole talk on the sideline is just, all right, go get your licks in. Like,
Yeah. Just get it in, man. It's over, but go get some.
it's over. Go and get you some. Like, none of y'all are ever putting on pads again. But, oh, man, you talk about that kid with the sweating problem, and he's taking his shirt off and did not need to. Like, a funny story. We had this kid a while back. Like, of all the people to take his shirt off at practice or whatever, he did not need to be one. I'm not one to body shame. It ain't like I'm Superman over here, but this kid needed to have his shirt on.
Yeah.
And our defensive coordinator that I work with, he's got his kids at practice where they're kind of playing, they're being kids or whatever. We're conservative minded folks, so having that, raise kids in 2025, you had those conversations about, like, nah, like, guys don't have these parts, girls don't have these parts. Like, there's a solid divide in my household about what's what. And so he's got him at practice, and we're doing drills, and this one kid, he takes the shirt off, and he's got the pancake like action going on when he runs. And his kid, I'll never forget, I was dying of this. She goes, Dad, I thought you said men didn't have boobs. And he's like, they don't. And she's like, he does. And this kid's just running, and they're just flapping up and down. I'm like, hey, call a spade a spade. Like, that's a pretty good inquisitive mind right there. Man.
It's always the ones that shouldn't take their shirt off that want to take it off.
Yeah. They got, and they
buddy.
proud. They are proud. Like,
I'm glad
good
you
Lord.
have confidence because I wouldn't if I looked like you.
Yeah, nah, dude. Like, I was borderline when I was growing up, the kid that was gonna wear a t-shirt in the pool. Like, I was not about that. Like, these kids like don't care. Like, they'll, like you said, kid went out to practice in a girdle not too long ago.
Yeah, no, it's like, fat boy tip. If you didn't know, if you wear an undershirt under your actual shirt, it kind of hides hides the curvature, I guess. I never understood shirts in the pool because it's like when a shirt gets wet, it clings to
It
you.
just
And it's like,
clings
buddy,
and it throws
like,
off the aerodynamics or whatever, the
yeah.
hydrodynamics. Like, you can't swim as good.
Well, it's like you're wearing a shirt to cover it, but like, we all know you're a big dude. Like, you're not hiding anything
Yeah.
by having a skin tight shirt that's soaking wet now. Like, well, we see it all. Like, we just don't see your skin. I don't know
We
what the
know what you're
point
working
is,
with,
but
man. Like, no point in hiding it. I'll
yeah.
tell you a little hack I've been doing lately is like under my teaching clothes. So I got this stuff a week or so ago called Kilo Gear, and it's like got micro weights like all throughout the clothing. Like, so in your arm, you've got like, 2 quarter-pound little weights here, and it's strategically placed and all that kind of stuff. And in the undershorts, it's got it like right on the thigh board on the side, like really concealed and stuff. Dude, I'll wear that under my like teaching clothes and like try to get a little extra calorie burn in. I
Yeah.
love the stuff. And one perk is that it does kind of fit compression style. So like I'm walking out of the bathroom
Slim
in the
you up.
hallway. I'm like, hey, like it's a good day. I'm kind of walking with my chest poked out. But no,
That was
shout out to
another.
Kilo Gear. Like those guys got it going on.
Yeah, I don't know if I need it. I got one big macro weight in the front already. I mean, I guess I could even it out. But another fat boy tip, I used to when I was maybe 6th grade, and everybody's awkward at that point in your life. You're
Yeah.
self-conscious about this and that, whatever. That was my move, right? I'd wear the compression cutoff shirt, and I'm talking like 2 sizes too small compression. Like
Ooh, a good
it is
squeeze.
sucked in under like a regular t-shirt, thinking nobody'd notice. But it's like,
Man.
again,
Yeah.
you're not hiding it, man. You're a
You're
big
not
boy. It's
hiding,
all
dude.
right. Nothing
Hey,
wrong with
we've
it.
all been there. We're all, there's just more to love,
Just be a
more to
big
love.
boy. It's all right. Nothing wrong
Oh,
with that
man.
at all.
So what do y'all got going on in the summertime football wise? Any big events coming up?
Well, we have our workouts every day, Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
But we have some 7-on-7 scheduled, and I think we have a couple 11-on-11s, and one we do. It's called Border Wars. It's at Pendleton High School. It was last year, where it's kind of a lot of schools from the Anderson area. Anderson backs up to Georgia.
Yeah.
Keep going. So it's kind of like some Georgia teams, some South Carolina teams, just doing like an 11-on-11 a deal. And what's your opinion on 11-on-11s with no pads?
Well,
Because I don't love it. Because
we did it 1 year before I moved out here. We did it 1 year.
Yeah.
And it was kind of the new way. It was a trending thing. It had been done in Georgia for a lot longer than South Carolina, but like the South Carolina teams were starting to kind of find ways to make it work and get that work in. And so I've only been to one. Actually, I've been to two. But I don't know. I mean, I guess I can see the purpose of it, but at the end of the day, like when you put the pads on, it's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
And then some people like because they know it's not padded, like some of the stuff they're able to get away with, like just in a one-on-one or whatever
Yeah.
scenario, like it's not as realistic to me. It's kind of like 7-on-7. Like some people, I'll never forget, we were doing a 7-on-7 back when I was in South Carolina, and we were up in Spartanburg, which if you're in Spartanburg, South Carolina, you got to eat at the Beacon.
Beacon.
But the Beacon, that's a total side note. Don't want to get back on the food train, but so we're up there at Spartanburg High, I think, and we're playing Easley High School, who for years had not been very good. Like, it had been a while since they were good. And we're normally a pretty competitive 3A school, but they're a 4A, and so who knows? Well, they had gotten this new coach, and he decided that 7-on-7 is going to be like they're going to go win 7-on-7s. Jack, he was not even calling plays. He literally had like a binder of just 7-on-7 plays, and they were just running plays out of the binder. I'm like, this ain't football, man. You're getting in Canadian formations
Yeah,
and
it's like
random guys in motion. The running back's able to run right where a guard would be and just pipe it. And I don't know. If we're going to go out there and do what our coverages are, and then the offense is going to run past concepts they're going to do in games.
Yeah.
7-on-7's great. Love it. But if you're going out there and you're doing like janky Canadian and you're in quads for a whole game, me,
It's
it's
like
just come on, man. Like, what
you
are we
got a
doing?
tight end or whoever a slot running the shallow right across the middle where a freaking defensive line would be, and you hit him for like a 3-yard route, and he just turns up and goes. It's like, come on, man!
Yeah,
Like that, he
yeah.
ain't gonna be
What are
able
we
to do
doing?
that. I
Do you
hope
remember
he do
this?
that.
Do you remember 7-on-7? We were in high school and we were a wing T team.
Yeah, I went just to snap, and all I did was just 4-point shotgun snap. And we were under center in 7-on-7.
Yeah, we were, because
Under center.
we were running waggle and we were running a bootleg, and that was it. Like that's
Yeah,
all the two plays were running, just back and forth, back and forth,
I'm
and
out here like, why?
maybe in all stops, like nothing too
Yeah,
crazy though.
nothing
But
crazy.
golly, I'm
I'll
just
never
look back
forget.
on
We had
that.
an all region wide receiver. I think my junior year. It's like, how does a wing T team have the all region wide receiver? Unless it's like Megatron at Georgia Tech,
Yeah,
Calvin Johnson or something. But I think this kid was just tall and could, kind of moss on people. But
kind of fit the bill.
yeah, there was something I was going to say. I can't remember. I
Yeah, the
lost it.
11 on
But
11 kind of I didn't do it long enough to really get a good idea. We're not allowed to do that kind of stuff out here, so I really don't have any more experience with that. But 7 on
yeah,
7, not a I mean, out here 7 on 7 in the summer, like your coach can't even coach the team. Like you got to find like a
yeah,
trusted parent, former player, somebody else. Not it can't be a school staff person coaching it. Now we're there. We've talked about this before. We're there and we're giving tidbits and all that. But we'll do one at SMU, and it's like a 2-day one. And then we might have somebody come up from somewhere close by and do it at the high school one day after workouts. And but again, like I don't know, it's mixed. It's mixed.
You know what it reminds me of is like, and it's the same thing as like lineman challenges over the summer when you can't wear
Yeah,
pads. We're
yeah.
doing pass rush, and you ever seen those clips on Twitter, X, or whatever, where the lineman, the offensive lineman, is kind of getting beat, and then just like grabs
Slings.
them and
Yeah,
throws them down. I'm like, okay, but and then they get all hyped for him. And I'm like, what are you
yeah,
teaching this kid? Like,
yeah.
that's a flag. Sorry, but I
I
feel like
can't
you need pads on to get a
I
true
can't
look in the
stand
trenches.
those clips that it's just like it's a one-on-one, right? And it's like you said, it's O-line, D-line, and it's just I don't know. I can't stand that because it's such an unfair thing. Like
Yeah.
I feel like more so for the offensive lineman, unless you're just totally stronger than this guy you're going against and you can just body him real quick. Like to me, like it's tough for the offensive lineman because one in a game I can go in hard count. I got a chest plate I can go and grab onto. I can just wall that guy off, and that's the same thing. But in these scenarios, you're expected to kind of stay in front of that guy, and he's just ears pinned back, like going.
It's
I
like,
don't
what
know.
are
I
we?
hate I hate those kind of drills.
Yeah, I don't love it. And then, like in a game, you got again, like you said, shoulder pads. If I'm attacking half a man, I'm going breastplate, shoulder. There's not a
Yeah,
breastplate to grab. There's nothing up here
yeah.
to grab. It's just tight shirt, tight shirt. And it's like you're never gonna go open palm and just, I call it. I won't say that, but they, yeah, I don't like it because I don't know how to say it without saying it, but we're just like chest bumping out here. You know what I mean? Like it's not titty bumping. Yeah, I didn't know if I wanted to say it or not, but yeah, it's
That's
kind of
that's
stupid.
PG.
But
Oh man,
But yeah, we got
nah.
one of those, I think, at least, and 7-on-7s, and then we'll get into some scrimmages, and
There you
that's
go.
what I'm excited for.
I'll tell you what I'm excited for is like you get done with the morning workouts, you get done with your football stuff, you get to the house, you still got all day. Like unless you're doing something like that or you're at somewhere else. But if it's just like a regular workout day, you get
Yeah.
home, you eat you a good lunch. I'm hitting a
Yeah.
fat nap. Like, and I've
Oh
gotten to
my
where I can do
gosh.
those. I gotten to where I can do those military naps where like I can prop my feet up and then within like a few minutes just be asleep. I'm doing the
Yeah.
whole like I've read some about it and then I'm addicted to it. Like I can hit those naps hard now, but nah, it's gonna be a good time.
The Beacon, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, yeah.
We
Since we're
took
close to the hour, the Beacon will be our last deal. But yeah, everybody's
so
got to hear about this.
yeah, so we took, a field trip in high school. This was a Spanish class. Alright, we went to, like, a theater in Spartanburg that had a Spanish play, I don't know, and the food for the trip, we were going to the Beacon, right? And I don't know if you remember, but in high school, I'm talking I could eat, like, put
Oh yeah,
down.
it was almost gross sometimes, but yeah,
Yeah.
you could put some food down.
Like nugget night, I gotta tell nugget night after this.
I tell that story every year to my class. First day of school, I got a picture
So
of that night.
yeah, you'll have to send me the picture because I don't have the
All right.
picture. But so we go to the Beacon to eat, and I had been talking to my Spanish teacher, shout out Senor Poor in Hawaii now, but talking to
Really?
him all week, yeah, about oh, I'm about to tear the Beacon up, like the Beacon, the Beacon, the Beacon. I'm about to get a double cheeseburger, onion rings, fries, a corn dog, all this stuff. And he's like, "There's no way you can eat all that." And I was like, "I promise you, I can eat all that." And so we made a bet that if I could eat it all, he would pay for it or whatever. I was like, all right, go ahead and throw a hot dog in there too and a milkshake and then put it all down. And he was just like in shock, like grossed out and in shock. But then he's just like, I mean, all right, a bet's a bet. And he paid for it or gave me the money back for the meal or whatever. And yeah, no. So, all right, Nugget night.
Nugget
I'll tell it
night.
from my perspective. You may
Yeah.
have some
In all
add-ins. I
time.
don't know.
No, yeah. Go for it.
All right, so Chick-fil-A. It was a specific Chick-fil-A. If you're familiar with Greenville, South Carolina, off of there was
Haywood
a
Road,
Chick-fil-A,
right?
yeah, Haywood Road. The Chick-fil-A outside the mall, not the one in the mall, but outside the mall on Haywood Road, used to have a thing called Nugget Night. And what it is you would pay, I don't remember the price, but it was like $11 or something
It was
crazy.
barely. It might have been a little more than $10. It wasn't that
Yeah.
much. Might
And
have
you
been
get
$9.99.
Yeah, and you get this card, right? Like a little stamp card, and you could get unlimited fries, first off, unlimited soda or drink, and you got this little card with you could start with a 12 count, and then you finish that, you can go back and get an 8 count up to 52 nuggets all in the one little card for $11. So me, my brother, and a couple of buddies went. The bet was that I couldn't eat 100 chicken nuggets. All right, so we figured it out, and they didn't eat all of their nuggets, so they kept getting their nuggets. We got up to 100, right? And I'm fighting for it. At first, you're all cocky, and you're just like,
Yeah.
pounding it down, pounding it down. Well, you get to about 50 nuggets, and you're like, all right, it's really time to dig in here. And
I
by
got
the
to lock
70,
in.
yeah, by the fifth nugget, you're starting to hate Chick-fil-A. You're just you have to try a different sauce. And I had put down 5 large fries, and I pounded 3 Dr. Peppers, large Dr. Peppers through this whole thing. So I'm
I think that's where you went wrong, was you got too much of the fries and all that.
yeah. And so I got to 100, right? I did it. But when I tell you I could not move, I couldn't get out of the booth because my stomach was so tight. We walk out, and I made it maybe 10 feet to the car. And then there's a storm drain right near the car. I think I had tried to sit in the car, and I couldn't move. I couldn't bend.
The picture I have is you in the car, and you're just like,
Just engorged, just huge.
you can
So
tell you were sweating.
yeah, my body's going into shock from just calorie consumption. Yeah, I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And so I had to just get it out, and my body wasn't giving me an option. And so the storm drain right there, I just hop out of that car, and here comes about 60 chicken nuggets and 2 large fries just in the storm drain. And it was weird. It looked like chicken salad, because everything kind of, mixed.
Digested.
I felt so good after that, though. And then I think we went to the mall. I had gotten a milkshake afterwards, after that whole ordeal.
I think you got another chicken sandwich or something too.
Just to wash it down.
Yeah, something for the road to get the taste of vomited chicken nuggets
Dude,
out.
it was, for $11, you can't beat that.
You can't
and they
beat
don't do
that
it anymore. But
that's worth $11 every time.
You'll have to send me that picture.
Nowadays I'd pay $15 to $20 for it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, a buffet?
Nowadays.
Even a buffet, I'll pay.
Yes,
I'll
yes.
pay.
Yeah, that's worth it.
Asian buffet near us in Simpsonville, and dude, they got hibachi in there, so you can just get unlimited hibachi. All right, don't look up their food rating or their,
That's
what do
not
they call
important.
it? Don't look at that. You'll get freaked out. You'll eat it, and you might feel a little sick after. You might have to use the restroom after it, but that's just hibachi, right? Happens every time. I hope so. It does for me. But dude, I tore that thing up. I might go this weekend just thinking about it. But a buffet is no match for me because I'll kill it.
Man,
Kill it.
I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm eating tomorrow. But man, we'll wrap up this one. We're at the hour mark. Appreciate you guys tuning in again. As always, be sure to hit that 5-star rating. Be sure to tell your friends. Hit that share button. Get us out in the coaching community. We're a couple of football coaches out here doing our thing in South Carolina and Texas. Appreciate everybody that's been tuning in on a weekly basis. New episodes are out every Sunday. the full video's up on YouTube. Wherever you get your podcast, we're there too. So we appreciate you guys tuning in to another episode of Fourth and Ward.